and welcome to this episode of the Blueprint series. I am your host. My name is Sheba Kereere, and thank you so very much for joining us today. I've been getting this question about what is the Blueprint series about. The Blueprint series, very, very basically, is, a blueprint is a template, right? And I, for one, honestly, I would have loved to have a blueprint about adulting, and life and career and certain things. So I got this great idea to start this series called The Blueprint, where I get to interview individuals who are excelling in life in different areas of life. I get to interview them for our benefit, for you and I's benefit, right? They come here, we ask them questions because the whole thing is, how did they do what they're doing now? And what can we learn from it? What were the pitfalls, or were the highs, or were the valleys? What were the challenges and things like that? Because family, if you really think about it, the more we know, we all want to go forward faster. So with that said, I am so, so, so excited about my second guest. Joining me today, I happen to have DJ Terry The Hippiie. Woo woo!
Hi.
Welcome, Terry.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, and thank you so very much for being here. For those of you who are going to be watching this later, this is Saturday morning, and I'm going to share a little bit what she does, and you understand how this is a big sacrifice. But thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Also, other side note, we're both East Africans. I'm Ugandan, she's Kenyan. Right. Whoop, whoop. Representing.
Same but anyway, passport.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. Yes. Oh, and we were talking before we started filming. I remembered making trips with my family as a child. It's only 45 minutes flying from Entebbe Airport, which is the international airport of Uganda, to, is it Jomo Kenyatta? Yeah, to Nairobi. It's only 45 minutes, family. So I'm just saying, if you happen to be in Kenya, if you happen to be in Uganda, it's 45 minutes, just hop on across. And, we're not Zanzibar, but we got some stuff. But anyway, all right, let's start this. Now, for those of you who do not know, and you've kind of like guessed a little bit, Terry was born in and raised in Nairobi, Kenya.
Born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya.
Whoop, whoop. Okay. Yeah. She is a very highly sought after and popular DJ here in the Washington D.C. metropolitan area. She has her own clothing brand. Yeah. You have rich full merch. You do. She hosts different kinds of events, anything to do with, I believe, gathering people. She's the founder of Hippie Music. What is Hippie Music in a nutshell?
Hippie music is just good vibes.
Yeah.
Different vibes, different type of music. When you come out, you're just guaranteed to listen to something unique, something different, something refreshing, something exciting.
So it's always something musical.
Yes.
And then what do you like? It could be anything else attached to the music, maybe?
Well, yes, there's a lot of things that come with it. But when you're in the environment, there's like you say, the merch, the hippie music merch. There's a networking aspect of it that's connected to everything. So yeah.
Cool.
It's just like a movement.
Yeah.
That brings people together.
A musical movement. Yes, I love that. Yeah. So growing up in Kenya, what influences did you have as a child musically?
So my parents were very big in music. So grew up on a lot of rumba, a lot of what we call soul music. So that's like 80s, 70s. Yeah. So just having that influence growing up, and then like falling in love with like the genre of the 90s music, and knowing the background of like the samples based on the older music that I used to listen to with my parents, just piqued like an interest in music for me. So
the 90s music rocks though.
It's the best era.
Yes. We've become those people. We were kids and our parents were like, your music, we was trash. How it was. Now we're those people. 90s, I'm just saying, if you're...
the best fashion.
Yes.
The best fashion, the best music, the best movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, no, sorry, we're becoming like our parents, but it's okay. It's not such a bad thing. So, second question. So how long have you been in the entertainment field, and who or what influenced you to get into the entertainment field?
I've been like in the entertainment field maybe a little bit over 10 years.
Yeah.
Seriously, like focusing on it on my own with my brand and everything is about 7 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The influence really just came from, I've always liked music, and then just when I met some friends in college, I had a lot of influence around people who were DJing, whether it was like bedroom DJs or just like playing in the clubs. And that's how I piqued my interest in like, wanting to become a DJ, because I was like, hey, there's not that many female DJs out here, so why not?
Great transition.
Yeah.
So you are a female, you are Black, you are African, and after leaving Kenya and then coming here for school, and now, you've blown up over here. But before that, let's go back a little bit. I want us to talk about what was it like breaking into the entertainment and music field. You're female, you're Black, you're African. We have accents when we come here. Well, we still do, but
Yeah.
what some of the challenges, if you could just share, like, what was that like? Was there room at the table? Did you have to create your own table? Like, what was that like?
I mean, there's definitely some room, not as much as you'd expect back then. Like, we're thinking maybe 2010, 11, when I was starting to get into this industry. But then I feel like at that time, the room was because I was a female in the industry, and there was very few of us, if any. At that time, I didn't know any, but social media has changed a lot of that. I'm sure they were, but there weren't that many. So I think being female, being African, having like a different ear for music when I was coming, even though I may have not technically been like the best, created some sort of hype, so then it opened doors for me at that time. It was still difficult because like once you start to like get a few events here and there, then you kind of have to fight for your space in that room, in the industry, like to get like the gigs, to get like the opportunities that you want. So
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think though you had an advantage being that you're from another country, you're Kenyan, you've grown up with different influences? Was that also a positive in a way, that at least that your sound was different? I think that's
Yeah.
what I'm asking. Was that a good thing or a bad thing? Not really a bad thing, but like a
Yeah.
different thing.
I think it still just came down to you're a female DJ.
Yeah, I get
The
it.
sound was really not the thing, because like there's always been like everyone who can play anything different. So as much as you may sound different, you may sound unique, there's someone somewhere who can, especially being like, I'll speak specifically about Kenyan DJs. Kenyan DJs tend to be very diverse with their music, and you can hear anything. So as much as you think you're unique, there's someone somewhere who sounds like you or is similar to you or has like a similar vibe to you. So I think it still comes down to being a female was like the hype of, hey, she's a female DJ. It wasn't like, how good is she? How,
Right.
so it
Yeah.
was almost like a marketing pitch or a sales pitch. So it's like,
Which is a good thing in a way.
yeah,
right?
the female was superseding the talent, which, if I look back then, when you're starting, you're just okay. You're
Yeah.
not, no one starts off like really, you only get better with time.
That's a
So-
good thing to add to the blueprint, is that,
Yeah.
I think we need to, what's the word? Maybe be a little bit more patient when we're starting with things sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're breaking into a new field,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I really was just kind of thinking about, to be very honest, you're the only female DJ I know. I'm not saying that. No, but I'm just saying maybe because also you're East African and whatever. I've heard, even before I physically met you, I've heard from you from two of my closest friends. So and what I love about it is that you weren't being spoken of as a female. You were being spoken of as a lioness, and like, oh, she's great.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
you know what I mean?
It's-
Like,
yeah,
and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, side question, as we're talking about that, well, kind of connected. Are you one of those people whom, let's say if you're getting an accolade, you don't want it to be like best female DJ? It's like, no, give it to me as a best DJ.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is that important to you?
I don't think we should be defined by our gender. Talent is talent. Like when you go to work, it's not like best male employee or best female employee. So why is it when it comes to like a lot of these musical or artsy type careers or ventures, why do we always have to separate them? Like, why does it have to be best female DJ? Why can't we just have a category of like best DJ, whether male or female? Because the talent,
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I'm also happy that I am surrounded by a lot of both males and females, but especially males, who recognize all of us in our different fields for who we are, not just because you're the best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I heard your name, to be honest, I wasn't hearing it as she's a female from Kenya who's a da-da-da. No, it was like she is literally a lioness of a DJ. And I was like, oh.
That's right.
And then I found out after that you're actually East African. So.
Yeah.
So listen, keep representing us. We are loving it. We're loving it. Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to have a variety of people watching this interview, but I would love for you to specifically speak to our sisters, the females.
Yeah.
Any advice for anybody who's breaking into a field? It may not necessarily even be music, but something like what you did where there's not a lot of female representation.
Yeah.
What advice would you give?
I'll just say, you just have to be true to yourself. Do not compromise your authenticity when you do anything. There's a time and place for everything. And again, like we spoke about patience earlier, be patient in what you're doing, be dedicated to your craft, and just stay authentic. And everything else just seems to flow once you're that. Because if you lose your authenticity in whatever venture you're trying to go, then it's like a rubber band that's just being pulled in different areas, But if you just stick to something, it might take a while, but then when it actually, comes into fruition for you, then you'll start to see the fruits and you'll be much happier because you're not compromising on who or what you want to be, what you want to represent.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Like not wavering.
Yes.
Just because you want to get there faster.
Yeah.
And then, so, to be very honest, a lot of these things come back and bite you,
Yeah.
So I hear you. So even if it takes the 10 years or 8 years or whatever, you'd rather do this.
Yeah.
At least and be also comfortable in your own skin. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it took me like 5-6 years to actually decide that I wanted to venture out and create my own brand. And that's after like looking at some things in the industry and being like, okay, well, instead of trying to force my way into doing this or being upset because things are not being done a certain way, I'm like, why don't I just do it? Because then I'm creating a space that I'm not forcing this, like this exists, but then I'm creating a space where it's like, okay, there's a hole and there's a need for this. So why not just create that space and then thrive in that and not expect everyone else to conform to what you want or not having you to conform to what they want.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's another great tip, actually.
Yeah.
Yes. And I also like your view of you see certain things and instead of complaining about the thing, it's like, oh, you actually see the demand.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do this my way or a different way or a better way.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's great advice. Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's shift a little bit and go to the pandemic. Okay. Girl, you're a DJ, you do events, you have merch, you have all these things, and a lot of these things are people facing.
Yeah.
How was the shutdown for you during the pandemic and how did you adjust or did you have to pivot? Like what, girl, how was that?
It was horrible.
I love your honesty.
I mean, it wasn't great for anyone aside from the obvious negative stuff that came out of it. Like it was hard because especially like that was probably going to be our third year in, like hippie music and Fatima Pram. And we were coming off our biggest event the previous year, the Labor Day weekend. And so we were just like, well, like from here, it's just like all the way up. And then, of course, 2020 came around and did 2020 things. And, when you're in an industry like mine where you use your music to express a lot of things, music is one of the things I look at it like music solves a lot of problems. It brings people together, whether it's like heartbreak songs or whether it's like fun, like songs about just being out. It's like there's music for everything. So it's always creating a mood. So when you're in that environment where you always have to, you're always used to entertaining people and you look forward to like also, using that as like a release or a stress release or, and then having all that taken away from you, it's like, oh, what do we do now?
Right.
Yeah, and we had to improvise. I mean, everyone was online.
Girl.
It was, even that was like a whole different story because it's like...
And then afterwards, you all figured it out. And I was like, okay, yeah.
It's like, it was such a learning process. And because, even before people started monetizing it, it's like there's no information out there on what to do. So it's like, my first live was literally like my iPad and my decks and people were listening to the audio directly, like, and it's like you're hearing all the background noises and everything.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a growing process, and it also had its positives in terms of like DJing, because I think some of the people who like are now fans of my mixtapes or fans of like Fatima Pram discovered me online. So it wasn't like all bad aside from the COVID itself, but in terms of like looking back, it's like it was horrible, but like there was some benefits and like pros
So
that
you
came
got
out
more
of it.
followers.
Not necessarily more followers,
Okay.
but I did add on to some.
That's
like
good.
I added on to some,
Yeah.
Not everybody was like is into like leaving the house to enjoy, but then people discovered my mixtapes.
That's good.
So it kind of had like, it's
Yeah.
little small benefits that
Yeah.
you look back and you're like,
And as a fellow creative, I get that.
Yeah.
Because funny enough, I the whole thing, of course, was, getting sick and people passing
Yeah.
away. But as creatives, I believe we learned a lot.
Yeah, we did.
You know
We
what I
did.
mean? Because
Yeah.
then you're pushed to have to evolve.
Yeah.
So now if anything ever happens, I'm not saying another pandemic, but anything else, you now can do live stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
You're
know
prepared.
what to do.
Yeah.
And like, creativity was challenged. And
Yeah.
I feel like people are
I
more
can relate.
creative now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yes. That online space has stuck around. So
True. Yeah.
it's good for people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. So talking about that, let's switch gears just a little bit. So a lot of you may not know, she has been married for 10 years this year. Clap, clap, clap. Woo-hoo! Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, girl. So I want to go there. You are an African couple that has been married 10 years and you're in the entertainment space.
I know.
How do I even ask this delicately? What are the dynamics like in the marriage when you're the one, not him, in the entertainment space? Like, what is the dynamic with that, with the two of you? Obviously, you've made it to 10 years, so yay.
Yeah.
But what's the dynamic like with you being in the entertainment space?
We've had to navigate a lot of different things along the way. But in all honesty, in the grand scheme of things, he is so supportive.
Yay.
And
that's beautiful.
It's like a blessing to have someone who
It
he's actually the one who pushes me to like do all these things.
Really?
Like, why are you not doing this? Why are you not in this space? You should be here. Like, and I like that because he has his way of thinking, my way of thinking, very like opposite. So I always like his perspective, even though we may clash. Sometimes I feel like he's pushing me too hard. I'm like, hey, just come down.
Job.
But
right.
throughout the whole process, he's been supportive. He's my accountant.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You see, I ain't good with the money. You make sure
the money's right.
Yes. We love that.
I am more of like just chill. My name's The Hippie, so I'm just like free flowing all the time.
It's so much creatives. We don't want to do with money. We're like, can we just flow? Someone else worry about the tax. Yeah.
So he does a lot of like behind the scenes for me and the events and just everything that I don't think I would be able to do by myself.
Yeah.
So he fills that void, and on top of everything, he's just super supportive.
That's amazing.
So
you're the only couple. I know you're the onlys that I know personally as Africans who do, like, most of the time I think it's the reverse, where the husband is maybe in the entertainment space. Yeah. So I love this. No, again, you know more people than I know. Entertainment field.
It's like,
it's so cool.
Even outside the DJing space, there's like musician couples.
Yes, but well, okay. I'm gonna leave it alone. I just love the fact, and the reason I wanted to ask that question, because again, we're African, and maybe somebody out there, you might be watching and you're trying to break into, it may not even be the musical space.
Yeah.
It may just be something that's more maybe male dominated.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you are thriving in your marriage. It's 10 years now, and you have a partner who's rooting for you.
Yeah.
Versus the whole, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
You should ask the question about how the in-laws took it, but I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna just leave it alone because I'm just saying. No, but I love that you have that support.
Yeah.
And he's not just encouraging you, he's actually involved. He's doing the figures and giving ideas.
He does a lot behind the scenes.
Hashtag husband goals family.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that, right? Yeah, not just Instagram hashtag. This is like support. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so question for you now. Looking back now, what advice would you give your younger self?
What advice would I give my younger self? Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, looking back, patience. Yeah, patience is like the biggest thing, because there's so many times along the way that I felt like I'm doing my best and my best was not good enough. Like, whether it was with just the DJing process or the initial, like, deciding to venture out and start like hippie music and Fete and a Prem. It's like at some point I was just always rushing, and I'm like, why is this not taking one? Why is not this taking?
Right.
And then, like we just spoke, like, when it finally started to take off. Then 2020 happened, and then we came back, and
Right.
we really starting from scratch
Yeah.
because people's outlook on life has changed. So you don't know what's out there. People are more creative. Being in this area, people like consume so many different things and we're spoiled for choice. So patience is like the one thing that I would have just like, say, be patient, take your time. Everything has its time and space. Yeah, that's the biggest one.
I love that.
Yeah.
I definitely love that. What I would add on to that is just also not forgetting who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
And just knowing that many people could be doing the same thing, but you bring your own uniqueness.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Just believing in
You know what I'm
yourself.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think that's yeah. But I agree with you, the patience thing, because somehow a lot of people talk about like the younger generation, but to be very honest, I think it starts with us. We are a microwave generation.
Yeah.
We expect things to be, you know what I mean? Our parents, I think, were more oven.
Yeah.
We're like microwave. I think the newer people are like even whatever.
We give up too easily.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because and again, this is one of the reasons why I was doing this series, because maybe our idea of what the template should look like and the blueprint should look like is not the real deal.
Exactly.
Maybe many of us were not sat down to say, hey, when you start a business, when you start doing this, when you start whatever it is, it's not going to be, you may not see any rewards or returns in 5 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean, you so just take your time.
Yeah,
So,
just take your time. And
yeah.
Everything has its time and place, like I said.
I like that.
Yeah. And the patience comes in all forms. It's just not really in your craft. It's also like you're still constantly learning.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure with your podcast you'll
Yes.
You'll be in episode 10 and you're like, oh, we were doing this in episode 2, but
now,
10,
right.
we're doing things
That's a good one too. Yeah. That's another good one too. Along again the patience thing of giving yourself flexibility.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm learning that a lot. This is I've been speaking for a while, and even just doing this families just to share is that you're like, okay, maybe we did this before. Let's let's flow in this direction, or let's kind of I think giving yourself permission as well.
Yeah.
To
allowing yourself.
Okay, maybe whatever we did in the now we can tweak it a little bit without changing the whole main thing. Exactly. I think that's a really, really good one. Okay. Yeah. Before we close, I don't speak French, so I hope I don't butcher it. Faites à prem.
Even I don't speak French.
Did I get it right?
Fête and a prem.
Oh, okay. What does it mean? And please share with those who don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. So fête and a prem, or we just call it fête. So fête,
yes, I'll stick to fête.
But there's a word fête.
Yes.
Fête just means party, right? Fête and a prem is party in the afternoon.
Oh.
When you translate in languages, just day party. Pretty much, that's what it is. Yeah. So fête and a prem is all about day parties.
Okay, so the Italians be doing siestas. This one's a party. Yeah. But those who don't know, over here in the D.C. metropolitan area, day parties are the rave,
we like
right?
to go out when the sun is out.
Yes. Also, our brunch is till like 3 p.m.
Sometimes 4.
Actually, sometimes 4. Yes.
Yeah.
Brunches are a big deal here. We love our brunches. We love our rooftops. We love, day parties. They're a great way to socialize.
It is.
Do you think that day parties have gone up? And again, and I know they come in different shapes and forms after the whole shutdown, now that we appreciate each other more a little? I think. I don't know.
In this area, I don't know. I can't speak for this area because I think we were day partying before.
True.
And we're still we're even day partying more.
That's what I'm saying. Right.
But I remember when I started this in 2018, it really wasn't a thing. Like,
no.
Even brunch wasn't like, it was brunch. Yes, you go out to brunch, but it's just,
but it wasn't
you go out to eat.
Thing, you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like no music, or it's just background music.
But now it's like, oh no.
Yeah, now it's a thing. And when I started mine, just to keep it a little bit authentic, it's just not like day party. It's just not like we're out in the afternoon and sipping and enjoying rooftops. It's also like we work with like instrumentalists and we freestyle with instrumentalists in our parties. It's also like great networking opportunities. I haven't really like ventured into that like more as much as I would, but then that's like the next step of where
which is about to ask you.
I'd like for that to go there. It's just like, no, we're just not out there during the day having a good time on a rooftop, but it's also like creating network opportunities for Africans, for Black people, for Black and brown people especially, because we always you never know who's doing what. Like, you're out with people,
right?
You have friends, and like maybe you're like looking to switch your job or something, and there's somebody who's doing exactly what you do, and you can
start a side hustle.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's that's exactly what I want, like FET to like evolve into. Like it's just more than just partying. It's also like, hey, excuse me, hey, like we have these networking opportunities here, like nurses, engineers, IT, like what are you looking for? Like you can come and have like a brief session where like you can socialize and get to know people so that we help each other and we can grow as a community. So we can take over this space. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Take it over
Girl,
completely.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
Is there any other than that? What's happening with the merch? Are you bringing more stuff out?
Yeah.
And just, I saw some
Yeah.
stuff. A lot of stuff was sold out.
I
I'm
know.
like,
And I will
her
get you
merch
some
is
merch.
thank you.
I will get you some merch.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love her merch family, and I love it's. I'm not gonna kill it, but I'm just gonna. It's African inspired with a modern twist.
Yeah, with a modern twist.
With a modern twist. Yes.
Yeah, right now.
And she has both for guys and girls.
Yeah, it's unisex.
It's
yeah. And kids. We've done kids
You've
as
done
well. Yeah. We've done kids, but like right now, I'm having like what do you call creators block? So
yeah, I can relate.
I'm in the redesigning phase of everything. We still have merch available on the website, but yeah, like it's getting cold. So like some hoodies,
I know,
and stuff like that. Some
very very cool stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not just saying that because you're sitting on my show. I'm saying I really do. I know somebody else who was behind the scenes who was trying to be like, I want to get one of those. I think you do t-shirts, you do hoodies.
I do, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm trying to venture out into like doing more than just t-shirts and hoodies.
Okay. But
also like changing the design up so it's just not the same thing.
Oh, I got it. But you picked that one as well.
Yeah.
That one's really cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's that should be like the original.
So I'm going through creators block.
No,
on that aspect. Yeah.
What were you saying about time and space?
Right? Yeah, time and space. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But thank you so very much.
No, thank you for having me.
This was a pleasure.
Yeah.
This was a pleasure. Family, honestly, thank you so very much for being here. Thank you to Terry for being here. We appreciate you for coming here on a Saturday morning, family. We appreciate because she goes to bed late, you have a full-time job and then you do the music thing and then she's married, as happily. Yes. For
that's
a
like
decade.
3 careers.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Being a wife is a career in its own.
It's not a bad thing to say. It's the truth. And so I so appreciate you being here. Thank you for coming on and sharing your blueprint. Trust me, I can't wait to see the comments that all of you are going to have on YouTube, because and even sometimes when people don't even leave comments, but I want you to know that there's going to be a life that's going to be impacted. Again, like I said, you're the only female DJ that I actually know. No, I mean, others you kind of hear of them, but you're East African, you have the merch going, you have the networking. I mean, you're doing it all. So I just want to say we wish you the very, very best.
Thank you.
Please continue being you. She's actually really, like, what you see is what you get. She's actually really cool. She's not the ones like, oh, we're going to be cool on camera and then whatever. So we love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing and just promoting us as Africans, as women, as a creative, as a wife, as an entrepreneur. We so love. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Really, really. And to the rest of you beautiful people, thank you so very much for watching this episode. If you have not watched any previous episodes, please click back and do that. I am going to ask for just one favor. Please like and share. Honestly, there is somebody, if it's not you, there is somebody who's trying to get forward faster, as I say. And so please share it. This episode is not about me. It's about Terry and what she's sharing, right? Wink, wink. Listen, share it from the grandmothers, the aunties, the uncles, the nephews, the community people. We are all about encouraging one another. Thank you so very much. Again, I am your host, Sheba Kereere. This has been The Blueprint. Thank you to our sponsors, especially Hakuna Matata Grill. In case you all are wondering, this is where we're sitting, okay? With these fabulous cushions, one may go home with me.
Yeah.
I just say, okay, no, I'm kidding. Maybe not. No, but seriously, thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate you. Stay tuned. We're going to link Terry's social media so you can follow her, follow me as well. And so stay tuned for the next episode. This has been an episode of the Blueprint series. I'm your host, Sheba Kereere, and have an awesome one. Keep thriving. Thank you so much.